I would like to suggest a small tweak to our UI. So whenever I add a competitor and I click on return to competitors list, uh, the first minute or so, it just looks like nothing's happening. So the customer, the user is just looking at zeros. And it isn't until they scroll all the way down to the spinner here where they see some activity. So I'm thinking this spinner, why don't we sync it, like put it up here instead? Now there already is a spinner associated with this section. However, the spinner only shows up when these specific links are being crawled, but it doesn't show up during this phase. I think what I'm thinking is the spinner is lasting as long as all the Ahrefs importing, index crawling, all that stuff is happening. However, these tables only show up when the specific links, it's it's when they're being crawled by our system. That's when it shows up. So why don't we make that change? And then a user who's new, they'll see right away that something is happening. And I think that would just be one extra uh, positive reassurance that the tool is doing something. All right, so it took about a half hour, but all of the numbers and the calculations are done. Um, there's two things that we need to look at, right? It's the existing backlink profile for this homepage, and then we're going to look at the competitors. But first, let's go to Vera. So we'll go to this backlinks tab here. We'll see that there's 113 live referring domains. 76 of them are do follow and indexed in Google, right? These 76 links, when combined, here is the existing anchor text percentage. Now, one thing that I like to do is I like to have a look at, just eyeball the anchors that count and see if the algorithm missed anything. Like here's an example. There was a misspelling of the brand name Vera, with double A's in it, and it was categorized as a natural anchor. When I see something like that, that's pretty much the only thing I'm seeing. I'll go into the categorization button and I'll add that as an alternate brand name. So once that gets recategorized, that'll be automatically accounted for, and then you see the branded percentages went up just a little bit. So 65% branded. If you look at Linkio's defaults and compare this ideal to the actual, it's got a score of close to 70%, which is pretty good. Now let's look at the sites that are actually ranking well. Again, remember, for this keyword, vegan shoes, Vera only ranks position 53. So if their on-site optimization is good, it means they've still got a ways to go. And to understand how they should improve, we should look at some of the competitors. So I'd like to start this table off from the bottom and work my way up. So here's the list of the competitors, and then here's the domain ranks. Mine is 29. Competitors are similar, 25 to 30. Their overall referring domains, the entire site, 200, 400, 146, 236. Okay. Specifically for the homepage. The homepage is the most important part of your site. It needs to be well done. The 150 to 149, the average is 171. This is 149. It's actually very similar. All right, let's keep moving up. Now this is just raw Ahrefs data, right? However, this section up here, this is Linkio crawling and checking all those links. So we get links that are actually live, 115. Ahrefs said there were 236. In actuality, there's only 115. Okay. So the average number here is 121 because Avesu actually has not that many links at all of what Ahrefs claims. The homepage links are here, 72 to 52, so 154 to 115. You see it cut off about 30% of the links. So even the homepage authorities are pretty similar. Let's see if it's an issue with actual power though. Since this is just the live referring domains, what about the links that are do follow and indexed of these 115?
Only a third of them are do follow and indexed. 31 for Vasu, 102 for Vegan Chic, 76 for Vera. Okay, so, you know, in terms of actual raw power, Vera is right up there too. Next up, let's look at the percentages. I see Willis Vegan Store claims to have a branded of 22. Avasu is 25. Vegan Chic is 53. The first thing I'll probably do is actually validate that these categorizations are correct. So I'll go to Will's Vegan Store first. It's 25. Seems rather low, but it may be the case. Let's see. Sorted by one link per domain. And I'm going to be looking for the greens. So that's a natural anchor. Website name. This one got categorized as just natural, so it's something to keep an eye on. Here it looks like there was a 301 redirect that we'll want to keep an eye on. See Will's vegan shoes here, this was categorized as a keyword. You can see because there's an apostrophe. So here's a few things I would start just taking note of. I'll be sure to add those. So because Will's vegan, this is being categorized as a keyword. Let's gather this data so far. So scroll up, go to the categorization setting. For the alternate URL that was discovered, let's add that as an alternate page URL here. Now I have the option of saying this entire thing is the brand name, or just Will's is the brand name, and Will's plus any other word becomes partial keyword. So that kind of depends on a little bit of gut and experience, but for now, let's update it to this and see what changes happen to the percentages. Right now, it's categorized as 22%. Let's see how that changes. You can see after the update, it went from 22 to 37%. The hybrid is still very high because the keyword includes part of the brand name. So depending on what matters to you or not, you might keep playing with that. But honestly, if we're just looking to copy percentages of our competitors, none of these would be suitable to copy. Why? Because they're all partial match domains. They all have the word vegan in them. And because they have the word vegan in them, it's easier for them to rank for vegan shoes. However, it doesn't make any sense to copy these percentages, and then we could do the same thing here. There's probably some miscategorizations I can go and fix and get the actual accurate number. But I would, in this case, I would keep it to national homepage. The national homepage, no keyword in domain, because these type of domains naturally have more branded. So I would keep, and this looks pretty good so far, I would keep doing this. However, the reason why this isn't ranking that well is, of course, there's probably some on-site optimization stuff that needs to be figured out. But also, the smaller sites that are ranking are all partial match domains. This is a non-match domain. In order for a non-match domain to rank in a competitive keyword, it needs to be more authoritative than a partial match, because these are ranking a bit because of their domain name. Vera doesn't have that benefit, therefore it needs to have even more links So even though these links are equivalent, because Linkio showed you who's ranking, and it's partial match domains or mega authority sites, it means that Vera needs more links to the homepage in order to be powerful enough to rank. And it doesn't need as many links as some of these high end sites, in my opinion, because like Zappos is not vegan specific, whereas Vera is. So that would be my plan as I go forward, and when I build more links and I need the anchor text suggestions, these are the ones I would continue to use. Now, that was the homepage. Understanding how powerful the homepage is very important. However, people also want to build links to their inner pages, so let me show you an example of that in action. I'm going to add a new page here. And one of the keywords that I discovered is vegan heels. And although Vera doesn't really have an optimized page for heels that I can see, I'm going to attach it to this inner page just so you get a sense of how you can approach that with Linkio. You can see the base automated categorization is e-commerce product page as a page type, and the related ideal percentage for that is e-commerce product page as well. Those ideal percentages by default are very different than the home page. So there's no backlinks that currently exist for this page. Linkio is also checking to see if Vera is ranking anywhere in the top 10 or the top 100. But while that's happening, let's go pull in the competitors that do rank on page 1. Let's see what kind of competition this keyword has. As the sites come in, of course, the first thing I'm looking at is it a bunch of inner pages? Yes, it is. It's good. Are the domain ranks all ridiculous? Many of them are, but there's some mid-authority sites as well. Here's one that actually doesn't have any keyword in the domain. So that's an interesting one. Beyond Skin also, same thing. And then some of the familiar ones that we saw before. So there's a mixture of domain ranks. I'm going for like the ones, I think my domain rank is 30, so I'm going in the 50 to 20 range. To me, that's interesting. So there's 2 Beyond Skin listings. I'll take the first one. I edit that brand name to remove the dash. What else? Let's take this site. Can skip PETA. Those are authority sites. Free People, authority site, domain rank of 80. Unicorn Goods, this is a good one, domain rank of 27. Nordstrom, no. And then Elux, this is like a blog post. So we've got a couple blog posts, we've got some authority sites, we've got but these 3 are good comps. So let's give this a few minutes until these spinners go away, and then we can see what we have. And this one only took a couple seconds. And really only Beyond Skin has a referring domain. We can look at it. Looks like a nice keyword. One referring domain that counts. So in this case, we learned a couple things. It's not about links to the page for this kind of keyword. Google's ranking you for your domain authority and thematic relevance. So oftentimes people will start a link building campaign and they'll say something like, I want to rank for vegan shoes and I want to rank for vegan heels. And they might have a domain authority of 10, right? And they're like, well, you rank me for this keyword, and then if it goes well, then we'll like expand and go from there. But I want to check monthly what's going on, this kind of thing. This goes to show you that if I was to sit down and say, oh wow, there's only this one page has one link and this page has 0 links, then and if you were to assume that means you just need to build 5 links and of course you would take them out, this stuff doesn't work like that anymore. The way you do link building now is to improve your domain authority and thematic relevance in the way that Google is ranking people for your industry. So here you use Linkio, you see how the competitor pages for your keyword, how many links they have, how they're optimized, what their URLs and titles and all this kind of stuff is. You compare their home pages and you see what their home pages look like. And if the pages, the internal pages don't have any links, it's probably something else, somewhere else that you need to focus your link building on. Focus it on your home page. Focus on getting placements on relevant articles about heels and veganism and vegan heels and vegan shoes. Without doing this analysis, you might have just gone ahead and built 10 links to your vegan shoes page, hoping that it would rank. But now with this exercise, you see that you have the same level of authority as some of these vegan specific brands. However, you don't have the word vegan in your domain. Therefore, you need to have authority above and beyond what they have. To me, a good comp would be identify some brands that don't have the word vegan in their domain name that are ranking well and compare them to your homepage. So maybe you take Unicorn Goods and you see who else is ranking well and you add it to your homepage and you see what kind of percentages they have, how many links they have, and that becomes your target. That's it. Questions, let me know.